Well, the Democrats have come up with some really stupid ideas in the past, but they have definitely taken the cake. And when we go through and we try to see who is the dumbest Democrat in office, the top four are always the members of the squad, which is not surprising, considering that you consider your intellectual leader on the squad AOC. And when she's being considered your intellectual leader, you got huge problems. But now they're going off and they're trying to promote a whole new scheme, and it just shows that they have no idea how the economy or money works in any way, shape, or form, which is why they're socialists, because they have no concept of money or the economy. So anyways, as we've gone through and taken a look at the progression of the left, at first they tried to say, hey, we need to raise the minimum wage, right? And they claim that will solve so much problems. Well, then conservatives came out and go, no, there's a reason why every time we've tried raising the minimum wage, it's been a complete and total failure, because all of a sudden you're increasing that business's expenses, employee wages. And since most businesses are small businesses, they don't necessarily have the profitability to afford that. And while we don't necessarily like welfare, providing 25% of someone's financial ability to live is better than providing 100%, which is why we have the minimum wage. But if you raise the minimum wage from $7.25 an hour to, say, $15 an hour, what's going to happen? Prices are going to go up. Why? Because the business is going to need to raise prices in order to avoid going bankrupt at the new wage level. Either that, or they have to lay off employees in order to keep prices down, right? You understand that. So they gave up on that, for the most part. And then Andrew Yang came around and goes, hey, we're just going to give everyone $1,000. And people are going off, well, how are you going to pay for that? Because if you just print off more money, that's going to destroy the value of the dollar. And there isn't enough money among millionaires and billionaires to pay for this for an extended period of time. And when they go bankrupt and the businesses go bankrupt, then nobody has a job and everything collapses, right? Now, how the economy works is, since we've left the gold standard of having to have enough gold to back up the value of the dollars printed, it's based off of the value of the economy. So if you have $1 and you have one chair, the value of that dollar equals the value of the economy of that chair. Therefore, $1 will purchase a chair. Now, if two chairs are produced and you still only have that $1, well, the value of that dollar is increased, and the chairs are now 50 cents, because now you can purchase two chairs with that $1, because that's the economy. However, if you go back and say, hey, we went from one chair $1 to $2 in one chair, well, the price of that chair now increases because there's more dollars chasing after that chair, right? That's how the economy works. And we've tried explaining this to the left quite often, right? That just printing out more money. So when they say the government can just print out more and more money, well, this is how inflation happens, right? When you print off more money faster than the increased value of the economy, prices go up. You got inflation. And if you really print out more money, then you can, at a faster pace than the increased value of the economy, you get hyperinflation and things start crashing down, which is why conservatives are, real conservatives are concerned about the national debt and the constant printing of money. Because as we keep doing that, it devalues the dollar, right? Does all of this make sense? Well, the left, taking a look at that argument, Rashida Tlaib comes out with a completely dumb idea, right? She comes off and goes, hey, at Real Donald Trump on Twitter, let's provide relief from this crisis for the people by giving preloaded debit cards to every person in America. No additional debt, we'll just mint 2 coins. Think about that. No additional debt, we'll just mint 2 coins. So her brilliant idea is, well, we have the ability to make commemorative coins. So we'll just make 2 commemorative coins and we'll slap a face value on those coins of like $1 trillion, right? And then what we'll do is we'll have the Fed print off, $2 trillion and purchase those two coins from ourselves. And therefore, because we have these commemorative coins that claim to be valued at $1 trillion each, that we now have the products, services, or value to maintain the value of the dollar. So we can, print off this $2 trillion without decreasing the value of the dollar. Right? This is their whole new scheme. Right? You understand that, how stupid that is. We're going to manufacture, like a platinum coin, claim it has $1 trillion value, then purchase it from ourselves by printing off more money, and then claim we added, $2 trillion worth of value to our assets and the economy. Therefore, the value of the dollar doesn't go down at all. Once again, they show they have no concept of money. So let me try and explain this to you. Why stop at 2 trillion? Why not print off two $15 trillion coins, purchase it from ourselves, and eliminate the national debt altogether? Huh? Why don't we do that? I mean, if it really is that simple, why don't we do that? Because the value of an item, is in large part dependent on the value perceived by the market. And if people are looking at this coin and saying there's nothing about this coin that makes it worth $1 trillion, then it's not actually worth $1 trillion. It doesn't actually have the spending power of $1 trillion, right? And if it was that easy, why don't all the other countries do it? What would be the point of putting economic sanctions on a country like Iran if they could just go off and print off commemorative coins, slap a high value on them, print off a bunch of money for their own economy, and claim that the value of that dollar is justified as being higher because of these coins that they created for themselves? Then there would be no point of economic sanctions, because then every country could do that. Would we accept it if China did that in order to increase the value of their economy, their money, and all of that? They just created several commemorative coins in their country, bought it from themselves, and then claim that what they bought from themselves had this certain value. Therefore, their economy and national wealth has just increased. And if it was that easy, Venezuela wouldn't have collapsed. Their government could have just gone through. Now, granted, it would almost be kind of cool if it was this easy, because then, the government can print off all the money it wants to give everybody $2,000, $3,000 a month UBI income. And we would never have to worry about the value of the dollar dropping, because, we would have the assets to back up the value of the dollar. But that still comes with problems of inflation. Because inflation, doesn't just result, from how much money is chasing how much products and services. That is a major component of it, but it's also based off of the elasticity of demand, right? Which goes into determining what the price is for a product and service based off of how much money is available to go for that product and services. So they go through the elasticity of demand, going, this is what we believe the demand would be at this price level, and this is what we believe the demand would be at this other price level. So where can we go through and maximize based off of our production capabilities, along with all the other products that we provide? What is the sweet spot, should we say, the Goldilocks spot, where we can command the most demand at the most profitable level, right? At the most profitable price, right? And so if it was really this easy, you would still end up in a situation of hyperinflation. Why? Because you're putting more money out into the economy, even though you're claiming it's propped up by these coins. Well, if you do that, what happens? Companies and services will reevaluate the elasticity of demand, because you just have more money in your wallet, and they're trying to figure out how to reprice everything based on the new availability of cash for them to price their products and services that optimizes their maximum profit level. So the items that you are now paying, like, let's say milk, right? Everybody tends to drink milk. Everyone loves milk unless, you're lactose intolerant, or I guess, for those of you on the left that, have gone all soy, right? But we'll just use milk as an example here. So let's say milk was, at, $2. Let's just keep it simple, right? And now the government is using this Ponzi scheme of, minting, coins with, I don't know how to say this, artificial face value or subjective face value, where they just slap a value on there and claim, well, that's the value of it, and then start pumping more money into the economy. Well, the people and the farmers and everyone throughout the supply chain to get the milk from the cows to the market are going to go through and go, well, you were willing to pay this much when you only had, this amount of money to spend, right? But now, because of this whole Ponzi scheme, everybody has so much money in the world, or in the country has just increased, which means you can afford more money to spend on milk. So we're going to raise the prices up because we're going to capture more of that money, right? And because of that, the prices will go up on milk, and basically you can use this with anything. And so now, while you have more money coming in to your own household, you're also having to spend more money than you do now for the same products and services. That's the way it's always going to be. The more money you have chasing after products and services, the higher the prices are going to be. It doesn't matter what type of scheme you come up with to claim that you have maintained the value of that dollar, right? Just by injecting more money into people's hands is going to cause prices to go up, right? The elasticity of demand here, right? And let's say you went off and say, well, we're going to give everyone $5,000 a month. Well, people are going to look at that and go, well, at $5,000 a month right now, I could afford to not have to work anymore, and I can still buy the products and services that I want. I can still live a good lifestyle. But then again, if everybody takes that mentality, who's going to be going off to develop the products and services for you to buy? Eventually, you have a lot of money and hardly jack squat to buy. And because of the contraction and the number of available goods and services, those prices are going to go up dramatically, right? No matter what scheme you come up with, you are not in any way, shape, or form going to be able to get around the fact that prices are going to be determined by the available amount of dollars chasing after the available amount of products and services. And that, more dollars for the products and services equals increases in prices. If you want to bring prices down, then you need to constrict and, pay down the debt and, remove currency from circulation so that the purchasing power of each dollar goes up. And this is one of those things that most people don't understand. The amount of money that you make is arbitrary. What matters is the purchasing power of the money you make, right? This is why, houses, that used to be $30,000 today will cost you $150,000, right? Because we've injected that much money into the economy. In fact, it's getting closer and closer to $200,000 because of how much more money we've printed into the economy above the available goods and services. And this scheme, in no way, shape, or form, changes that calculus. This scheme by Rashida Tlaib, does not magically solve the problem. It doesn't. Right? Do you understand this now? Now, they'll try and go off and claim that somehow this benefits everything and that this will be the magic solution. We would never accept any other country doing this. They're just trying to, get you lost in the weeds as they go through these schemes and claim that they have some sort of magical plan that will work, and that somehow this would, have no negative consequences. When all they're really trying to do is basically the sleight of hand magician, where they're just trying to deceive you into thinking that this is something that could be the magic solution to everything. But if this was a magic solution, then why not just print off enough to pay off the entire national debt? And then claim, well, we got these commemorative coins that say on their face that it has the value of what our debt is. And, we could have several $1 trillion to spare. If it was that easy, everybody in the world could do it. And then the whole, economy and all that just gets all screwed up. Right? So, this is one of the dumbest ideas that any member of the Democrats have ever come up with. And considering that we're talking about the Democrats that features AOC, that's quite a statement.